The Not-So-Perfect Princess and the Not-So-Dreadful Dragon. Princess Petal was not the perfect princess. In fact, she was quite the opposite. She was everything a perfect princess was not supposed to be. Ta-da! Her princess dresses were torn and scruffy from climbing the palace walls. She wore an old woolly hat instead of a golden crown. Her knees and elbows were covered in scratches from wrestling baby bears. And sitting comfortably at her hip was a silver sword, just in case. Princess Petal was not like other princesses. She wasn't delicate like the petal of a flower. She wasn't quiet like a snowflake on a cold winter's day. And she certainly wasn't scared of fire-breathing dragons. Princess Petal was the strongest, loudest, and bravest princess in all the land. One day, when Princess Petal was out hiking in the forest looking for bears, she heard a strange sound coming from a rocky outcrop. First there was a sniff, then there was a snort, then there was the loudest boo-hoo, boo-hoo she had ever heard, so loud that Princess Petal was knocked sideways. Being the strongest, loudest, and bravest princess in all the land, Princess Petal picked herself up and brushed herself off and strode fearlessly toward the crying. Lying just outside a large cave, curled up in a shiny ball of green and gold scales, was the most miserable-looking dragon Princess Petal had ever seen. "Oh dear," she said in a soft voice, a voice much softer than she usually used with fire-breathing dragons. "Whatever's the matter?" The gloomy dragon looked up and gave a gigantic sniff. "Everybody thinks dragons are dreadful and mean and unkind," he sighed. "But I'm not. I'm kind and caring and friendly. I love dress-ups and dancing and collecting sparkly things. All the villagers are scared of me and run away whenever I come down to play from the mountain." Princess Petal leaned in closer and patted the dragon's scales. There, she soothed. "I understand exactly how you feel. Everyone thinks princesses should be quiet and shy and do delicate things like knit and pick flowers. But I'm brave and strong and fierce, and I love to climb walls and trees and wrestle bears." The dragon's big eyes looked at Princess Petal suspiciously. "Are you sure you're a princess?" he asked. "I don't want to be unkind, but you don't look like a princess." "Well," said Princess Petal, standing a little bit taller with her hands on her hips, "you don't look like a fierce fire-breathing dragon." "Well, that's because I'm not. I'm not fierce, and I'm not very brave. But I am lonely, and I am sad. Princess Petal leaned in a little closer and gave the dragon a couple of solid pats on the back. "I have an idea," she said loudly. "Why don't you come home to my house for a play? There are loads of sparkly things in the castle, like diamond necklaces and ruby rings and golden crowns. And if you like, we can play dress up and dance." Dancing. The dragon sat up a little straighter and blinked away 2 large tears. Then the not-so-dreadful dragon leapt up gleefully and began to dance. The ground rumbled and rocks began to crumble as he jumped around with joy. "Stop!" shouted Princess Petal above the din. "You'll start a landslide." The not-so-dreadful dragon stopped his stomping and lowered his head. "Hop on," he said, "if you are brave enough." "Ha!" scoffed Princess Petal. "I'm the bravest princess in all the land. Let's go." And so it was. Princess Petal sat snugly behind the dragon's horns. Then the not-so-dreadful dragon stretched out his magnificent wings and flew down the mountain path. "Whee!" shouted Princess Petal louder than she had ever shouted "wee" before. "I'm flying!" After a perfect landing in a grassy field, Princess Petal and the not-so-dreadful dragon marched hand in talon through the wooden gates and into the castle garden. "Good afternoon, Mother. Good afternoon, Father," said Princess Petal. "I have a new friend I'd like you to meet." "Eek!" screamed the Queen, ducking under the table. "Oh!" cried the King, running for the bushes. "Get that dragon out of here. It will gobble us up and burn down the castle." The not-so-dreadful dragon's head hung low. He rolled into a shiny ball and lay sadly at the base of Princess Petal's feet. A small sob escaped from his snout. Princess Petal stood straight and tall and with her hands on her hips turned to her parents. "This dragon is my friend," she announced fiercely, "and he is not dreadful and he is not scary and he will not gobble up and burn down the castle. My friend is kind and gentle, and he likes dress-ups and sparkly things." Then she knelt down and looked into the dragon's sad eyes. "You are perfect just the way you are," she said. "You are kind, and you are caring, and you are the perfect friend for me." The Queen came out from beneath the table, and the King peeked out from behind a bush. "Really?" they said together. "Yes," said Princess Petal. "Really, just because you think someone is something does not mean they actually are. Everyone thinks princesses should be quiet and delicate and perfect. Well, I'm not. I'm brave and I'm strong and I'm loud and I'm smart and I'm funny. I'm many different things, and I'm perfect just the way I am." The dragon rose to his feet, held Princess Petal's hand. "You are perfect just the way you are," he said. "You are wise and kind and brave, and you are the perfect friend for me." And so it was. From that day forward, the not-so-dreadful dragon and the not-so-perfect princess became best friends forever. Sometimes they wrestled bears, and sometimes they played dress-ups. And sometimes they just hung out together. But whatever they did and wherever they went, they were always perfectly who they were meant to be. The end.